Heavy, maintain C180 greater all the way to the bridge.
Good afternoon, guys. Welcome to our Simulation and Aviation flight for tonight, the 23rd of September 2014. I actually just planned the flight for you guys for tonight. Now, what I'm actually doing is I'm using a real flight planning system, real live airline flight planning system to plan this flight, meaning you'll basically have all the live details available when doing the flight for tonight. One thing that is actually very important for you is to set up your flight simulator to download the real live aloft winds. It is so that the winds that has been used to calculate this flight plan is actually the ones that are valid at the time of departure, and the departure time is actually 1900 hours UTC tonight. We did the little voting here, and most of you guys out there wanted a 737-700 flight from Keflavik to the Faroe Islands. So that's actually what I have been doing. I did promise you here the first couple of times to make this make a little video where you can actually see the flight plan, and I'll pinpoint a couple of things. You can download the flight plan in the Simulation and Aviation group on Facebook. So first of all, Simulation and Aviation 01 flight from Keflavik to the Faroe Islands, departure on the 23rd 1900 UTC. Okay, first page of the briefing package. You can see the flight Sim 01 from Keflavik to the Faroe Islands, Vágar, tonight. ATC flight plan status unknown, and that is, of course, we haven't filed the flight plan on the real life systems. That means Eurocontrol, etc., etc. I put in a little message here for you so you can have a look. The flight departed 1900 UTC, and that means, as I said, that the forecasted winds for the departure time has been used, and also the weather and wind charts are all valid for that particular departure time tonight, except for the METAR though. Eventually what you can do, because I do need to upload this flight now, I only have a half an hour to do this, and I'm going off to work this afternoon. So in order for you to be able to use the flight at 1900 tonight, I had to do it now. So take a look at the METAR before you go fly, and plan the flight with the forecasts that you have in the briefing. Okay. Another important thing is for you to remember to set up your simulator, as I said, to download the real-time winds aloft. Okay. First page of the flight plan. Up here, as I said, it's a demonstration airline, Sim 01. You can print the whole briefing out and put in your names up here and sign it off as in real life if you want to do that. It's a 737, it's a 700 series we are flying today, and the flight is planned at filed at flight level 310. That means that the whole fuel calculation is based on flight level 310. Scheduled time of departure is 1900 UTC, that is, and the scheduled time of arrival 2007. Now try and see if you can hit the exact time. Don't be late. But one very important step is, of course, always to be safe. So safety first at all times. Good, the meteorological data are valid at 1900 as we used. We are going from Keflavik to Vágar. I used Elstay as an alternate. Now, I just put that in now, and what you can definitely do is take a look at the flight plan later on, the weather briefing, the daytime briefing, and see if Elstay is the best choice for you, Or if anything is the matter over there and you have to pick another alternate, you can do that. Actually, in real life, I'll be using Keflavik, depending on the weather though. But anyway, good. Over here to the right, you put in your times when you are off block, when you're on block, total block time, block fuel, landing fuel, airborne time, landing time, and total airborne time if you have any delays and how much fuel you burned off. The weights down here, we put in 108 passengers. This is the empty weight, all in kilograms. So fuel weight, and here we have the takeoff fuel. Again, this is the absolute minimum fuel, but there are different things in the briefing which you need to take into consideration whether you want to go with minimum fuel or not. Now, for the simulator use, I would suggest you to put at least 500 or 600 kilos extra on it, because the flight simulators are using a little bit more fuel than in real life, and it's a little bit more harder to control the fuel burn in the simulators than in real life. So yeah, maybe put a ton extra in for the simulator use, a ton. And then, of course, for all the other different stuff that you come along. Takeoff fuel will then be corrected if you put in a higher takeoff fuel than the minimum required. Trip fuel and the estimated landing mass, max takeoff mass, max landing mass. And again, there are some limits here. Take good care that you will not hit the max landing weight here. Down here you have the position of Keflavik. That's the airport reference point, the ARP as we call it. Gain loss, that's for fuel policy. Fuel is very expensive in the Faroe Islands, so you can see you actually gain a lot of money by uplifting more fuel in Keflavik. So take that into consideration when picking up the fuel for an eventually return leg later on. Ground distance, that's the great circle track. Wind component, tonight you have 65 knots tailwind. And the cruise profile, which everything is calculated on, is Mach 0.78. Over here you can see there's a little correction table. You can see the difference in different stuff if you pick some other flight levels. Okay, up here your ATC routing, and as you can see the departure goes via Ecolima, so take that into consideration when picking your departure out of Keflavik. Again, all this will actually speak for itself. I think I'll take the details in another video for you if you don't mind. A couple of things you need to be aware of is, of course, the grid motor. Don't hit the mountains in Iceland, and they'll just, start another volcanic eruption over there if you hit anything, so please don't. Hard rocks in the clouds in Iceland, and also in the Faroe Islands, by the way. This is the TUC is your top of climb. Out here you can see when you are at the top of climb, this is your minimum required fuel, and this is how much you should have been used towards the top of climb. So do your fuel checks, be aware of fuel at all times. Down here we come to the point Larux. We are following the airway Golf 3 to top of descent. At top of descent you should have minimum required fuel of 3,283, and you should have used 2,644. Then you go into the Faroe Islands, and as I said, I put in Ilstay as an alternate. If you pick another one, I have already calculated for you. For example, if you are using Keflavik instead of Ilstay, then your minimum block fuel will be this amount you see out here. You might also maybe want to use Bergen, Stavanger, or even Reykjavik. Okay? You're flying around in Icelandic airspace. These are your waypoints. And this is, as it says up here, airports en route list. Good. Then let's go to the weather. So I do hope the quality is good enough. I'll try and take a look later on when I'm done with this video. First of all, we have the weather briefing here. As you can see, this is the weather briefing for the flight SIMA01 from Keflavik to Vágar. What you need to be aware of is, of course, if we start at the departure port, Keflavik, you have 4 runways, 0211, 20 and 29. Check out the med report, and this is from 9:30, so this morning. Be sure that you check up on the weather before you depart, of course. Use the forecast for the planning, as I said. If you take the forecast for the Faroe Islands tonight, we are looking at a forecast issued at 0900 UTC, valid from 09 to 1800 tonight. Winds are from 240 12 knots, more than 10 kilometers, scattered at 2000, temporarily between 9 and 11. Between 9 and 18. We will have showers of rain, and the clouds will go down to broken 1200 and scattered CB at 2000. All in all, quite reasonable and fair for the flight tonight. Then you have your alternate. We put in Ailstayer. Maybe it's not the best. If you have other ideas, I know I would, or I might have another idea for an alternate, which I would pick if it was me who should fly this flight live. And maybe you can, put in a couple of comments in the group why you have taken some different decisions regarding alternate and fuel uplift or whatever. Then we have I can just read the alternate for you. Right now, the med report issued at 0900, 160 degrees 3 knots, more than 10 kilometers, fuel at 6000, scattered at 20,000, and the temperature is 6, dew point 3, the QNH is 1000. And again, the forecast is actually valid for 24 hours, so this is a long forecast. You have winds from 19 at 8 knots, more than 10 kilometers, scattered clouds at 5000. And you can see also here between 4 and 10 tonight there will be some showers of rain, broken 1500 CBs, becoming tomorrow morning from the 6 to 9 o'clock Keflavik. So all in all, good for weather overhead Iceland. You can see down here, no significant met are found, no sigmas as we call it. Then of course you have to take a look at the NOTAMs, check out if there are any NOTAMs at all that can go in and do some, or you have to do some decision making regarding the planning of your flight. This is the short ICAO ATC flight plan as it looks. And here we go, here we have live wind charts. This is actually valid for the time when you are going at 1900 UTC tonight. So this is a live wind chart. So you can see there's a lot of tailwind tonight towards the Faroe Islands. I'll actually be doing a live flight to Bergen and back tonight. So we probably have a lot of nice tailwind towards the west coast of Norway. This is a chart we call the vertical cross-section chart. This gives you a very nice idea of what you can expect in profile on your flight. If you go out here, you have all the flight levels. You can see the dotted line here, that's your climb profile. Then you have your cruise profile and your descent profile. The red dotted line here is the triple pause. And what you can see, you'll be flying at, I think it was 320, I think we planned it in, or 310, whatever. But anyway, what you can see up here on your flight level, which is planned for the flight, you can experience some turbulence. You see that by the blue thing here. So again, maybe that could be a reason to pick a little more fuel eventually. If there's too much turbulence, then you do need to have a little bit extra fuel to try other flight levels. Remember to make it as comfortable for your passengers as possible. So you can have that in mind. And as I said, rocks in the clouds here in Iceland, pretty high, mountainous areas here in Iceland. Stay out of it. You can see these are actually the tops here of the mountains in Iceland, over in the Faroe Islands. Not so big, but still. This is actually a drawing of your grid Mora. Good. Then we have the significant weather chart. Again, this gives you a very nice idea of the weather where you are flying. The way you read this, first of all, you can see this is a jet stream coming down here. Oh, sorry, coming down here. And as you can see, the jet stream, the core of the jet stream, which is the fastest, you can see the winds are actually 130 knots here in the core, and the core is planned to be around, is it flight level 310? I think it is here, yeah. You can also see if flying in area 2, for example, which is within the inner dotted line here, you can go over here and see, okay, there are some turbulence forecasted, and actually there might be occasionally severe turbulence, so yeah, be aware of the turbulence situation as well. Good. And at the end, just a small map where you eventually could put in your name, print it out, put it in a what you call it, folder where you keep all your flight plans. Okay, I hope you can use this, and well, maybe tomorrow or the day after we can talk about if there have been any issues about the flight tonight, anything you want to ask or anything. Again, catch us in the Simulation Aviation group, and let's have a talk about it. Stay safe, have a safe flight, and yeah, good luck, happy landings.